Traditional National Signing Day has become somewhat insignificant to many, but at LSU, they picked up a definite plus in a five-star defensive lineman. We've got Wilson Alexander on the line from The Advocate to break down some LSU football for us. Wilson, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Mark. How are you doing today?
I am doing just fine. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Brian Kelly, doing well, it appears. LSU recruits itself to a certain extent, and he certainly dug in when it comes to staying in state. And we know that when it comes to Louisiana, per capita in producing NFL players, no state's better. And when he's able to keep, I see 8 of 10 and 12 of 15 in terms of the top players in the state at home, that's a good thing.
It absolutely is. It's what they want to be able to do in their recruiting classes year after year is use Louisiana and its border states, especially Mississippi and East Texas, as kind of the foundation of the program. And you didn't really see that until this cycle. The first year a staff's coming in, trying to kind of get its legs underneath it. There's a scramble there. The first sort of full cycle, LSU kind of leaned on some of its national connections. But in this one, you really saw for the first time LSU kind of lock down the state of Louisiana and lean on those border states. And, coming out of the early December, so the early signing period in December, LSU had 11 of the top 14 players in Louisiana signed at that point. But there was still one out there. And there would have been, even when talking about how well LSU had done within the state, there would have been an exception if they hadn't gotten this guy, and that's Dominick McKinley, the consensus five-star defensive tackle, the number one player in Louisiana, was committed to Texas A&M at the time. But because Texas A&M started going through a coaching change after firing Jimbo Fisher, that kind of opened the door for for LSU to get back in there with Dominick McKinley and his family. Even though LSU itself was going through some coaching changes on the defensive side of the ball and hadn't even made those changes yet at that point, Dominick McKinley ends up flipping on New Year's Eve and staying solid with that throughout the next month, signing with LSU on Wednesday without any drama attached to it whatsoever. And kind of finishing up this class for LSU now with, like you said, 12 of the top 15 players in the state are headed to LSU. And Dominick McKinley is the one five-star in the group. And LSU has him now too at a position of critical need for this program right now. They really need defensive tackles. And Dominick McKinley is the kind of prospect who you can start to build around there as a consensus five-star.
In addition to McKinley, Wilson, anybody that could possibly be even further down the list in regards to the star ratings, but that you particularly like and think could maybe even step up as a freshman or has long-term potential?
Well, the one that immediately comes to mind is Trey'Dez Green. He's kind of the number 2 highest rated player in LSU's class, and he's just almost kind of a unicorn type player. He's a 6'7" tight end with a basketball background who can really jump. He kind of played wide receiver his senior year of high school just because of the offense that he was in, and he's somebody who is a really intriguing pass catcher. Who maybe can get on the field in that capacity early in his career when LSU goes to some multiple tight end sets. We'll see how he continues to physically develop because he's going to have to get better as an inline blocker and those sorts of things, something he just didn't do a ton of as a senior in high school. But Trey'Dez Green would probably be a name to keep an eye on. They have 6 offensive linemen in this class. So any number of those could end up getting on the field, maybe not early, but just at some point in their career as they continue to build the offensive line. Someone else who could probably get on the field early would be 2 names that jump out. It would be Deshaun McBride, who's one of their safeties. He's kind of a top 100 player. And LSU, just because of kind of the way their roster is right now, safety is a position where a young player could probably get on the field a little bit early. The other one, Caden Durham, same sort of situation. We know running backs are usually able to get on the field a little bit earlier in their careers than most other positions. And LSU's only got 3 other scholarship running backs. So Caden Durham would be somebody who could also probably get on the field early in some capacity.